text, and I hope this text will be of use to you to understand the difference between the non-dualistic approach to meditation and the approach which takes the outer objects as existing, which you can call a dualistic, but it is not really dualistic in the sense of strict division, because every Buddhist believes in dependent origination. Nevertheless, the object is real. In Madhyamika, all objects become empty, which is synonym of unreal. In this tradition, the Yogacara, the objects, subject, object, everything inside, outside is neither real nor unreal. This is the third turning of the wheel of Dharma to avoid the nihilistic view. The Madhyamikas, of course, don't believe that it is a nihilistic view. There is a great discussion which has taken centuries and centuries. The Chinese, they tend to be very practical. They, from the very beginning, they mix them together and don't bother very much about distinguishing them. But emphasis is still on Yogacara in Chinese Buddhism. In Tibetan Buddhism, the emphasis is on Madhyamika. So we have explained how to establish the non-dualistic meditation on the base of the mind being the Dharma. And that which has Dharma is a meaning, we have explained. And this, in order to have meaning, it must have the essence, it must have the characteristics of the essence, and it must have the use of the essence. This is a Chinese philosophy. The essence without the use is not a real essence. So nirvana, or suchness as you may call it, must have its use. It's not just simply a cessation. And its use, of course, we have explained, is this all the virtues. The real virtues, they don't belong to individual, they belong to the ultimate reality. This is very important to understand. And only then the highest reality have the use. So this is the non-dualistic approach. Now let us go to the explanation of the after the second chapter, which establishes the meaning of this treatise. We have an explanation of the meaning. And the explanation of the meaning we have seen has three parts. The first explanation of the true meaning, then how to get rid of all the evil, and how to progress. Now, the most important part is the explanation of this establishing of the true meaning. And this is what we're going to translate now. So our text says, on the base of the Dharma of one mind, Dharma of one mind. What is Dharma of one mind? Dharma of one mind is one mind. That is one mind is Tathagata Garbha. That is the essence of the mind. Without the essence, the mind will not have characteristics and will not have the functions. And the Tathagata Garbha is nothing but the Buddhahood in the mind of the sentient beings. And on the base of this Buddhahood, this treatise explains what we experience. The Buddhahood is true. What we experience is a dream, is an illusion. Whatever is impermanent is just an illusion. It has never really arisen, and it can never, what has never really arisen can never really cease. This is the non-dualistic approach. We have explained the same, like in what Nagarjuna explained. The real meaning of the dependent origination is that it has not really arisen, it has not really ceased. It is not coming, not going, not one, not many. It is beyond prapancha. It is beyond vikalpa, therefore it is nirvikalpa. You can understand it only on the base of the wisdom which does not arise and does not pass. This is a real wisdom. This wisdom exists even so they are objects, but it also exists even without the objects. The wisdom of the Buddha exists when they are objects. It exists also when there are no objects. So it is not dependent on the arising of the object, but also it is not separated from arising of the object. It is something unspeakable, anabhilapya. Because it is unspeakable, it is aprapya. It cannot be attained by grasping. When you grasp the nimitta, the sign of the object, the picture of the object, what happens? You cannot see that which does not change. When you don't grasp, you may have opening to that which does not change. Where is the mind when you don't grasp anything, when you don't take any sign, when you don't receive any object in particular? So this tradition is based on meditating on the mind which does not think about the object. You will see. When you don't think about the object, you have access to this unspeakable, ungraspable, which is beyond thought. So this one Eka Chitta Dharma, this Eka Chitta Dharma, this Dharma is that which holds nature, which is lasting nature, at least in the Samvrti, in the relative truth. The nature of the Dharma is lasting, in relative truth. In the absolute truth, what is lasting is only emptiness. Nothing else can last. So that is why the emptiness is the svabhava, the own nature of all the phenomena, including nirvana and including all the samsaric phenomena. So this one mind, Dharma, which is the Buddha nature in the mind of all beings, has two paryaya. In Sanskrit, in Chinese they translate as man. This is paryaya means a method. Paryaya you can take also as aspect. So methods of study, methods of meditation, and also aspect. It has a very wide range of meanings. In Chinese they translate man, which means door. Two doors for understanding this Eka Chitta Dharma, the Dharma of one mind. Which are the two methods or two aspects? No, we would rather say method here, not aspect, because Tathagata Garbha does not change. But it has two methods to understand it. In order to understand the Buddha nature, we have to use two methods of thinking, two methods of meditation, two methods of reflecting, of weighing in the mind. These two methods actually appear in one mind, in one moment of the mind. The first method is the method of the essence, and that is the method of observing, understanding, meditating on the suchness, tathata. The suchness never changes. This suchness is the essence of all the phenomena. It is the swabhava of all the phenomena. All the phenomena can arise and pass away only because there is emptiness. If there is no emptiness, what can arise? Emptiness is a wonderful word. Shunyata, it is an Indian invention. No other civilization has invented zero. Shunya, even in Hindi nowadays, shunya means just zero. Every mathematical calculation makes sense with a zero. If you don't have a zero, then how can you deduct? How can you add? How can you manipulate the numbers? You can manipulate the numbers only if you have a zero, right? This is the secret of the mathematics. Similarly, according to non-dualistic meditation, everything makes sense when emptiness makes sense. Nothing can make sense when emptiness does not make sense. Right? So, everything can arise when there is emptiness. And when it arises, it is neither one, nor many, nor this, nor that. It is ungraspable. When you grasp it, it is gone already. So, what we grasp is again our own thought about the thing. So, all the phenomena we experience can be understood on the basis of this suchness. This is one method. Because the suchness is the only swabhava of all the phenomena. They don't have any real swabhava. Even so, the swabhava of the table is hardness. But this hardness exists only related to softness. I cannot feel any hardness unless my hand is soft, right? So there is no objective hardness as the characteristic of the earth. But there is objective emptiness in order to feel the hardness, right? And so on for all the phenomena we experience. Then you have the other method. The other method is the impermanence of the mind. In Chinese, impermanence means arising and cessation. And it is the same synonym of samsara. Samsara means arising and cessation. Impermanence also means arising and cessation. So to understand the mind, we have to use, according to this philosophy, we have to use two methods of investigation. The method of investigation on the base of emptiness, which is the ultimate reality, but emptiness also exists in regard to impermanence. If you don't have impermanence, what emptiness can you have? Of course, you have to have the something. If you don't have anything, what will you empty? Right? You have to have some numbers to calculate something. But you can only calculate on the base of 0. For one orange added to another orange, you have to have no orange. Then you can have one orange, right? But the no orange does not mean that it does not exist. It does not mean that it exists. It means that whatever arises is ungraspable. Because it appears in one way and its true existence is in a different way. So everything is neither really existent nor really non-existent. So this is the base for understanding the non-dualistic tradition. If something is really existent, then it can not mix with other things. If something is non-existent, it cannot arise. If something is the same, so it can never change. If something is different, it can also never change. But all that we experience is a change. And for this change, we need two methods. Two methods of understanding. So, in other words, we need the essence and we need the characteristics. If we have only characteristics, don't have essence, we cannot understand. If we have only essence and no characteristic, we also cannot understand. So everything we can understand when we have essence and characteristics. And they have to appear together. If there is no phenomena, you cannot understand emptiness. If there is emptiness without phenomena, you also cannot understand. So these two methods for understanding one mind, these two methods, they contain, generally speaking, all of our experience of the phenomena. You cannot understand any phenomena without using these two methods. So they imply all the phenomena, what it means. The essence and its use can never be separated. This is Chinese philosophy. Essence and its function can never be separated. Essence is suchness. Function are the phenomena, the characteristics of the phenomena. Now, this both essence and the characteristics or the appearance, nimitta, of the phenomena, they cannot be separated where? In the Tathagata Garbha. in the Buddha nature. So to understand the Buddha nature, you have to understand through ignorance is revealed wisdom. Through wisdom is revealed ignorance. We will now come to it. Dependent origination. You cannot have wisdom without ignorance. You cannot have ignorance without wisdom. They come together. That's how the wisdom can illumine all the phenomena, because they come together. Non-dualistic approach. If they are different, then you can never reach the wisdom. If they are the same, then we are already Buddhas. But they are neither same nor different. That's how the essence and its function is asamprayukta, is cannot be separated from Tathagata Garbha, from the Buddhahood hidden in the mind of all beings. So, simply speaking, all beings, mind and the Buddha come together. If they are separated, then the great essence has no great use and great characteristics. So everything is mutually permeated. Ignorance permeates wisdom, wisdom permeates ignorance. And this is condition of the beings. Now, in Yogacara you have two traditions, but I will not speak too much of philosophy. Where does this suchness come into the mind of beings? Some scripture says that it comes from hearing the Dharma, reflecting on the Dharma, like Mahayana Samgraha. And most of the scripture says that it is inborn, it's always been there, hidden. This scripture says it has always been there. Because the mind cannot arise, even the most evil mind, without the suchness. On the other hand, this alaya-based tradition, not the Buddhahood-based tradition, they are closely connected, but still they have different emphasis. In the alaya-based tradition, they are beings who have no roots of merit. According to the agamas, nikayas, if you don't have roots of merit, you cannot get enlightenment, impossible. Now, according to the agamas, the Buddha is blaming Shariputra. He does not want to accept some layman who wants to become a monk, and he's a drunk. He does not want to accept him, but the Buddha says in a previous life he has offered 1 spoon of rice to the Arahat. So he has a spoon of merit, you should accept him as a monk. So that person, he is drunk when he wakes up, then he, where I am. So he goes home, but later again, he becomes a monk and starts working very hard for his liberation. Only Buddha can see it, nobody else can see it. So we should never underestimate others, even if they are very evil. They still have some root of merit. So this is the first thing in studying the Mahayana. You should tsankwe, you should always blame yourself, but never look down at others. So these two methods, they can be applied to all dharmas, or they are implied in all dharmas. What does it mean? He asks himself. It means that these two methods of understanding our experience, they are inseparable. Now he says further, in order to understand the suchness, we also need to apply two methods. Understand suchness from the point of view of non-differentiation, understanding suchness from the point of view of differentiation. Everything we should analyze on the basis of differentiation, and non-differentiation cannot be separated from each other. When you understand it, you become enlightened. But it is not so easy, because our mind always tends to separation or non-separation. But it does not see that both arise inseparable. So our experience is unspeakable, unthinkable. Very wonderful approach. It is not necessarily contrary to what the agamas teach. You will find the same ideas in the agamas, but they are not emphasized. Sutta Nipata has the same ideas. So, who is separating? We have to be aware. One who separates does not really exist. There is a thought, but there is no thinker. There is a feeling, but there is no feeler. There is a doing, but there is no doer. But yet, without the doer, they cannot be doing. Without the speaker, they cannot be speaking. Without the feeler, there cannot be feeling. So we are in a contradictory situation. Understanding this, it is Zen. Each and every moment we are in a paradox. There is no way to get out of this paradox by thinking. We cannot get out of the paradox by thinking. Yet, we beings sometimes also unthinkable, very, very obstinate. Always we want to find truth by thinking. So the Zen method, shouting, kicking, staying on the head, making the paradox deep experience, that is Zen poetry. Riding on a donkey on a stone bridge, the bridge under the water under the bridge, the river under the bridge is standing, the bridge is moving. This is typical Zen poetry. Bring you to the reality of paradox of thinking. In the silence of the temple, I hear the voice hears me, I don't hear the voice. Very wonderful. Neither this nor that. So now we come first to the method of understanding the suchness through non-differentiation, by the method of non-differentiation. Then we will try to understand suchness by the method of differentiation. So this non-differentiation means is based on the essence of the suchness. To understand the Tathagata Garbha, we also need these two methods. The method of non-arising and the method of arising. When something arises, it has a picture. If it does not have picture, it does not arise. The picture in the mind. Nimitta. Nimitta is arising. If you have grasped the picture of something in your mind, it will arise. If you don't grasp the sign, then there is no perception. If there is no perception, there is no differentiation. Differentiation depends on perception, and perception means grasping the image, right? And as soon as you grasp the image and differentiate it, the past experience will come. So this essence of suchness means that the essence of the mind, which is no real essence, it is asvabhava. The asvabhava is the essence, also the characteristic. The non-essence is the essence. Paradox from the very beginning. This essence, which is non-essence, it does not arise, and what does not arise can never cease. Whatever all the phenomena that really arise, they only arise on the base of illusionary thinking. Wang Nian. When you come to Japan, train in the Zendo, the teacher will always call Makumozo, don't make a Wang Nian, don't engage in illusionary thoughts. So whatever differences we see in our experience, they are based on the illusionary thought. Since there is no real thinker, how can the thoughts be something which you can grasp? And without the thinker, you don't have any thoughts. This is Madhyamika. Now, if you leave the illusionary thoughts, then, of course, you will leave all the real existing objects, no? So, this is essence for understanding non-dualistic meditation. This illusion of duality exists, but it exists in emptiness. It cannot exist apart from emptiness. And because it is so, therefore the conclusion from the very beginning, all the phenomena, all the dharmas are deprived of speaking. Are deprived of the characteristics which you can express by speaking. That is a meaning. They are deprived of the name. According to Yogacara, the Dharma means name. And through the name we get the meaning. And the emptiness, when you understand emptiness, it denies the true existence of name and true existence of all meanings established by the name. That is a function of emptiness. First, it denies the existence of the name, then it denies the existence of all the phenomena established by the name. And without the name, you cannot establish any phenomena.
But what does that mean? That you cannot establish phenomena without the name?
It means like Vimalakirti. Vimalakirti Sutra. Yeah. The silence establishes everything. Did you study Vimalakirti Sutra? Very important in Chinese tradition. The great Vimalakirti. Everybody speaks about his experience and he keeps silent. And his silence breaks all horizons. And the Manjushri praises him. This is the true experience. It is Nishprapancha. When we know Nirvana, we cannot describe by the words, but it is yet there. Because it cannot be described by the words, nobody believes in it. That is a problem. So we have to describe it by the words. That is a paradox. If we don't describe it by the words, nobody will believe. But it cannot be described by the words. This is the meaning. So all the dharmas, they are isolated. Very important. They are in vivekas. That means they abandon the citta pratyaya, the conditioning of the mind by the object. They are beyond conditioning of the mind by the object. They are isolated. Therefore, so they are same from the point of view of the absolute reality, of the highest reality. All the dharmas are the same. They don't arise, they don't cease. Because they don't arise, they don't cease, they are not changing. Because they are not changing, their existence, or they cannot be broken, they cannot be destroyed. Because they are not changing, how can you destroy something which is not changing? So it cannot be affirmed, but it also cannot be denied. The same like God. You cannot affirm, you cannot deny. But we, as a Buddhist, don't believe in God creator. But the principle is the same. The highest reality cannot be proved as really existing, as something we can grasp, but it also cannot be denied. This is what is meant by broken. To break something is to deny something, at least in Chinese. So this suchness from the point of view of the essence, it is only one mind, therefore it can be called suchness. Because it is only one mind. Therefore, all the names which can name it, very Chinese, they are not true. because this suchness cannot be attained by any illusionary thoughts. Because, or as, that what we call suchness has no nimitta. From the point of view of essence, this suchness has no nimitta. Amurti. What does it mean? That there, from the point of view of suchness, no phenomena whatsoever can be established. Can be established as either existing or as non-existing. So when, very important, when we say something about it, we can also deny it by the words. But this suchness cannot be denied, nor can it be affirmed by the words. But this essence of the suchness cannot be denied. The words about the suchness can be denied, but the essence of the suchness, it can never be denied. Because in it all the dharmas are true. From the point of view of suchness, all the dharmas are true. Therefore, it cannot be established. Because all the dharmas, they are same like suchness, they neither arise nor cease. This is the meaning. How can you establish all dharmas? Because all dharmas are suchness. You cannot establish all dharmas. All dharmas are suchness from the very beginning. So, from the very beginning, and it will always be, the all dharmas are not established. If they are established, they can be affirmed or denied. But the truth cannot be affirmed as existing and also cannot be denied as non-existing. Because the tathata cannot be established, therefore all the phenomena are non-dual. Why? Because the phenomena are suchness. So all the phenomena, simply speaking, we cannot really speak about them, we cannot really think about them, and therefore they are called suchness. And our author asks himself, question, if this is the meaning of the suchness, how can we beings can approach it? And how can we attain it? How can we enter into it? Answer: you should know, even though we speak about all kinds of phenomena, about nirvana, about samsara, and so on, there is no subject which can be speaking. This is the wisdom from hearing. There is speaking, but there is no real subject of speaking, therefore that speaking you cannot grasp as something existing. But still the speech is there, but it neither exists nor non-exists. But still, on the base of speech you make meaning. So, on the base of speech you have the wisdom from hearing. But the real wisdom from hearing is that what you hear is only a concept. No? And without a concept, we cannot weigh in the mind. So the weighing in the mind means vitarka. Vitarka comes from the Sanskrit root uha. Uha. Even in my language, in Czech, we say vážit, vága. We are weighing, right? Even English comes from this root Thinking means weighing in the mind, right? That is a meaning, original meaning of vitarka. We think, therefore we are weighing in the mind. Is it like this? Is it like that? So this is contemplation. And wisdom from contemplation is, even so we are contemplating, there is no one who contemplates.
Manjuji, can I ask a clarification?
Yes, sure.
So, you just before you said in Madhyamika, they say there is neither the thinker nor the thought. And now we're saying there is the speech.
Yeah, it is the same.
This but without the thinker or the speaker, how is it the same? I don't get it. I mean,
it is not the same, but this mind which speaks, mind which thinks, is there. But it arises in emptiness. The mind which speaks is there. The mind which thinks is there, but it arises in emptiness. This is Yogacara.
So, Yogacara is saying that there is thinking but no thinker.
That Buddhism says even the Theravada same. There's no difference.
So why is it that the Madhyamikas are saying which is different?
Well, they are related to each other.
Yes.
They are related to each other. But from the Theravada point of view, there is no thinker, but there is thinking.
There is.
Yes, there is thinking. There is not speaker, but there is speaking.
How so?
Because the object is there.
There means what? It's truly there? Or?
Yeah, there has to be an object in order that the mind can arise. And the object is really there. In Madhyamika, neither object nor subject is there.
Yeah.
In Theravada, the object is there.
And in Yogacara also the object is there.
The object is not there. You don't understand. Otherwise it does not make any sense. The mind is there, but it is empty of own nature.
This is the
Yogacara. Enlightened.
No, I
Better not to think too much, Zen.
No, it's just that we study the tenet system.
Pardon?
We study the tenet system. I mean, it's just confusing because maybe it's different.
What tenet you want? This is just skillful means.
I see.
In Yogacara, the mind is there, but the object comes from the mind.
Yes. And the mind is empty of its own essence.
No, of course. If it was not empty of its own essence, how would it move?
So if in the Yogacara they say there is no thinker, but thinking is there. Thinking is there because thinking is mind.
Neither thinking is there, nor the thinker is there.
This I understand.
But the thinking is not what you think.
Yeah, because that's a concept.
So you have to understand the thinking, process of thinking. It can only happen in emptiness. And emptiness neither exists nor non-exists. So you have to investigate it from two sides. Basically, it's saying the same. Here, it is the same idea as Madhyamika. When there is no thinker, there is no thinking, but the mind is there. There has to be mind that something happens. Thinker and thinking. If there is no mind, you may think the nihilism, no? So Madhyamikas are accused of nihilism. Right?
By the Yogacaras.
The mind is there. Because when you get rid of this thinking, you can realize the truth. This is all the treatise about it. Now got it finally? Still not clear.
Well, I don't understand then why the Tibetans base their tradition on Madhyamika. I mean, there's a difference, right? The Chinese are basing more on Yogacara.
Well, this is the philosophical discussion. The intellectuals, they have to...
And in the practice?
In the practice, there is not much difference. They also mix. The Kamalashila and Shantarakshita, when they came to Tibet, they also taught Yogacara as the conventional truth and the Madhyamika as the highest truth. Okay, why not? No problem. Without the conventional truth, you cannot realize the highest truth. But finally, they meet together because the highest truth of the mind, essence of the mind, is also suchness. But when you remove the abhuta parikalpa, the illusion of subject and object, only then you can realize the true mind. So you must affirm the mind in order to realize that the abhuta parikalpa is nonsense. So this is a traditional approach to shunyata. There has to be something to be removed. If there is nothing to be removed, you may misunderstand that Buddhism is nihilism, no? But these two approaches, they basically don't have much contradiction. What is we are here in the monastery of Jamyang Khyentse Rinpoche. He says very wisely we should fight against nihilism, not against Yogacara or Madhyamika. Madhyamika is not nihilism, Yogacara is not nihilism, Theravada is not nihilism, Buddhism is not nihilism. But it can be misunderstood and was often misunderstood as nihilism. Why it is not nihilism? Because the cause-effect is there. But not as we understand it. It does not arise from itself, it does not arise from the other, it does not arise neither from itself nor from other, and it cannot arise also without a cause. So, here you are, unspeakable, unthinkable. Being unspeakable in this tradition is a wisdom from hearing. Unthinkable is a wisdom from thinking. And we have to directly experience. This is what Bodhidharma has taught. So when we understand that what we speak about is ultimately unspeakable, what we think about is ultimately unthinkable, then we adopt to the essence of the suchness, which is unspeakable, unthinkable. And very easy, when we leave the thought behind, we can enter the unspeakable, unthinkable realm of suchness. So it means what is not thinking, that is the eka samskara samadhi. Kshana kshana, there is both phenomena and emptiness. For that, in order to understand that, you have to understand the alaya consciousness. Alaya consciousness creates the illusion of duality. This illusion of subject and object being separate, due to which we are holding to the subject and to the object like ticks, sucking something. It is a complete illusion. It has never arisen. It is there, but not as we see it. This is Yogacara. Everything is only manifestation of the mind, but the mind itself is unmanifested. Very wonderful. I see now, after some time, you can have a tea. That is also Zen method. But very easy to be misunderstood. Some master, teacher, if they ask him if the Buddha, if the dog has Buddha nature, they either answer no or they answer have your tea. If they say the dog has no Buddha nature, have your tea. Dog has a Buddha nature, have your tea. There's a Chinese practical approach. So, now we have, in order to understand suchness, we have to use the method of non-differentiation and we have to use the method of differentiation. Otherwise we cannot understand. Now, from the point of view of differentiation, this suchness based on the concepts, based on differentiation, has two aspects. Which two aspects? The aspects of yatha bhuta shunyata, of the true emptiness. That means that emptiness which reveals emptiness. Emptiness reveals emptiness. Very wonderful. And this aspect of true emptiness, which can reveal emptiness, this aspect is able to reveal the ultimate truth. If you believe in emptiness, you have to deny emptiness. If you think the emptiness really exists, you are as far away from emptiness as you can be. If you believe the emptiness does not exist, you are also as far away from emptiness as one can be. So the emptiness reveals emptiness. And the emptiness is the truth of all the phenomena. Have your tea. Still 10 minutes left. Now the really non-empty, the emptiness is really empty, which reveals emptiness, the essence of emptiness, and it is also the really non-empty. Because it has own nature. And its own nature is the anasharama dharma, the dharma without inflow and outflow of impurities. which contains all the virtues. In other words, that which is empty is from the very beginning not connected with any impurities, any impure dharmas. The empty cannot be connected with impure dharmas. And that is to say, it is not connected with any differentiation. Because it cannot be thought by an illusionary mind. Therefore, you should know that the svabhava, the own nature of suchness, neither has any nimitta, any sign, any picture, any form, nor is it without form. Nor you will understand it by denial of the picture of the form, nor by affirming any form or picture. Also, it can be neither with form nor without form together. It has no one form. It is not. It does not have the different form. It cannot be understood by one form. It cannot be understood by different form. It cannot be understood by neither one form nor different form. Generally speaking, we sentient beings we think and think and think all kinds of differentiation, but the suchness is always not connected with this differentiation. Therefore, we call it empty. But if you leave illusionary thought, this is yogacara, then there is nothing which you can empty. Therefore, this illusionary thought has to be there. If you deny existence of the illusionary thought, what will you empty? As what is concerned with the aspect of emptiness not being really empty, It reveals that the essence of emptiness has no falsity. This anashrava dharma, the dharma free from impurity, inflow and outflow of impurities, is real. It is not something which we can deny. If we deny it, then meditation has no meaning. Therefore, we have to see that this true mind is never changing, is always pure and always full. Emptiness cannot be separated from the fullness. There is fullness because of emptiness. There is emptiness in fullness. This is very important to understand. This is very different from the dualistic thought. Usually empty means something is missing. But here empty means, on the contrary, it is inseparable from the fullness. You cannot find fullness except when you understand emptiness. And this fullness is true, and this fullness is pure. And therefore it is called non-empty. So to understand emptiness from the point of view of differentiation, you have to understand what is empty and what is non-empty. Again, everything is relative. That which is suchness, since it has no image which you can grasp, it has no picture, it has no form which you can grasp. Therefore, it cannot be realized by thinking, it cannot be realized by understanding the objects. It can only be realized by direct realization. So we have analyzed the aspect of the mind which is suchness. We have realized the suchness from the point of view of the essence. We have realized this which has no differentiation. We have analyzed the suchness from the point of view of the aspects or characteristics which are connected with differentiation. So now we can understand suchness, but to understand suchness we have to understand also the mind which is changing, and that is samsara. You cannot understand nirvana without samsara. You cannot understand samsara without nirvana. That is the point. So now let's have our tea. Now?
The answer is drink your tea.
Do we have a Q&A after? Do we have a question and answer session after?
There is satsang as usual, no?
Okay.
That's what we have on the schedule. And chant.
And if we have time left, then we will do some meditation. Too much thinking, trouble in the bubble.